I think it's responsible and appropriate. That having been said, I regret that we are here.
Here, as referenced by Senator Grant Burgoyne, is at this crossroads where we either believe in the accuracies of our election process or we don't. And for the last nearly 2 years, the wild accusations of voter fraud on a national level has trickled down to the gem state. Several state candidates are now running on this platform of election integrity, even though the integrity of Idaho's elections have rarely been questioned. And when they have, by the likes of traveling pillow salesmen, these accusations have been proven inaccurate. Another solution in search of an actual problem. So here we are at this crossroads. Well, yesterday, Jason Hancock, the Deputy Secretary of State, the agency responsible for election integrity, he offered up a path we could take. It has to do with what would happen after a general election. A random selection of counties would be subject to an election audit. Senate Bill 1274 would classify counties into 3 groups: those with more than 100,000 people living there, counties with 10,000 to 100,000 people, and counties with less than 10,000 people. The first group, well, they would select 2 counties to conduct audits. The second group would offer up 16, and the third group, well, just 3 counties, kind of like a Hunger Games type selection of audits, I guess. 21 out of Idaho's 44 counties would be randomly selected for audits every statewide election. This only happens every couple of years and would cost the state about $50,000 a year. So why is this needed? Despite a lack of evidence of substantial voter fraud in Idaho. In fact, according to the Heritage Foundation, there have been just 10 cases of voter fraud since 2004 in Idaho, the last one in 2017. Despite all this, Hancock says this audit might make people feel better about the process.
We would go into these randomly selected precincts, examine the paper ballots, recount them by hand, and compare those back to the counts that we received on election night. The other purpose served by doing this is to build voter confidence that our systems are working, that we are checking on things, we are validating to make sure that our counts are correct.
Kind of like when your partner promises you they're not cheating on you, and you've already have the location sharing activated on your phone, you regularly check their text messages, and now you're going to monitor the mileage on their car, kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know. Hancock says Idaho is actually one of a handful of states that doesn't automatically conduct post-election audits, so it's not a terrible thing. It passed the committee unanimously and will now head to the Senate floor. It does have an emergency clause written into it, by the way, which means it would come into play for this upcoming primary and general election season should it pass.